In this video, we're going to cover how to add an inspection for your interventions on the NFM Hub. First, you will need to download Fieldmaps, the app. The first thing you'll need to do is go to the App Store on your phone and download Fieldmaps app, which is available on Android or iPhone. It's this icon here with the blue square and the map in the middle. On your phone, if we just navigate to Fieldmaps here. Once we're in the software, we'll be asked to sign in. In this case, I've signed in with my CABA community license, which says Rivers Trust Team. Your community license will have a similar ending. It will end in team. So you will only be able to find the correct map if you're logged in with this CABA community license. It will not work if you are logged in with another ArcGIS online account. Once you're signed in, search for NBS inspections and you will see this map appear, which should have been shared with you in the group. If we just click on these three dots on the right hand side, we can also click reload map if we're returning to the app and we want to check that it's got all the up-to-date features there. Here's some interventions that have been added earlier for a project, and today we're going to zoom into this example here. Now, if I click on this intervention, this is a natural flood management intervention, it's going to come up and tell me which type of intervention it is. So it's an arable soil and land management intervention, and it will say when it was created. It will show pictures related to that intervention, and it will also show inspections. So the inspections here, with the icon that looks like a chain link, is what we need to click on. So if we tap on that, and we'll come to this page where it says add. So if we want to add an inspection, click add. And it will open up with this, this information box. So now we can start to fill out the information for the inspection, and we can either take a photo. So in this case, I'm going to click take a photo. And here's a photo of some natural flood management features, some leaky barriers. I'm going to click use photo, and it's uploaded that photo to the inspections app. The next set of items that you will need to fill out are the condition assessment. It's going to automatically give you the date and time as now, and it's automatically created a code there to link it to the intervention. We can choose from the following options. So in this case, I'm going to say it's a baseline. It's the first time I've been there since we've installed it, and I'm going to choose an inspecting organisation. So I'm going to put the Rivers Trust as this example. Click done. Action, I'm going to say none because we've just installed it. Action status, I'm going to say planned. Cost of action, I'm going to say £150 in materials, for example. Organisation delivering action, I'm going to put inspecting partner. And any comments, in this case I'm going to say that the leaky barrier has just been installed. This is the baseline survey. Click done. And if we click submit, this should be uploaded to Fieldmaps. Now we have one inspection here. We can just scroll down and we're going to be able to see the history of what we just put in. If we would like to, we can then edit that. So we can go in and click edit. So if we want to change anything, so I've just realised, for example, here we go, perhaps I've made a mistake. So actually there was no cost of action. I'm going to keep that as complete, but I'm going to change that to complete, but I'm going to remove this cost of action because it didn't cost anything. And then I'm going to click submit. And that's how we can update the inspection if we made a mistake. So we now have one inspection here. We can also copy, if I just click copy, all of that information into the inspection. So if we only have to if we don't want to fill out everything again because we've already got most of the answers that we need, we might just want to do that copy and then we can change anything. So in this case, I might be returning, and actually we've needed to adapt it. So I'm going to click adapt, and I'm going to say that it's complete, and I'm going to say it costs £100. And I'm going to say that the landowner did that. And I might just update the comments here to say landowner adapted the feature, click done and submit. So now we go off this screen, we'll see that we have now got another inspection here. Let's close all of these down. For example, let's say I'm going back and I want to see what inspections have already been done. So I'm going to click on it again and it's going to be highlighted. And if I click on inspections now, we'll be able to see a record of the previous inspections. So we've got the two here that I did earlier, and it says the date and it has a timestamp. If I click on one of those, then gives me information about that inspection. So I can, again, edit that. I could add another photo, for example. Most times, I imagine that you wouldn't need to edit this. You would actually be taking a new one for a new inspection. So in this case, I'm going to click add to add another inspection, and I'm going to attach a photo that I took earlier, because this time I'm doing it from the office. So I've already gone out and I've assessed it, but I didn't take my phone. So in this example, I'm going to actually choose a photo from my phone. And here's the photo from my album. I'm going to click add. It's important when you do this that you don't select a file from SharePoint, for example. If I just go to attach again, just to show you, and you only choose a photo or video from your phone album. You don't choose a file. The reason for this is because the files can be too large, and there is a limitation on the software where it won't tell you that it's too large, and it will upload, but you won't be able to view that. So it's important that you only choose photos that are in your phone album when you're doing this. That's what the software is designed to work with. So we've attached that photo from the phone album, and now we're going to go in and do the rest of the assessment. So this time it's not a baseline and we're actually returning. I'm going to say that it's in very good condition and it's still functioning, let's say after a recent storm. So in this case, I'm going to say again, it's the Rivers Trust who have visited the asset. And I'm going to say that we didn't need to do anything because in this case, it's already in very good condition. And there is no work planned. Cost of action is, let's say, £100. In this case, I'm going to say that the action status is the action status is none because nothing's done, and the cost was zero financially, and the organisation in this case was the inspecting partner, and we're going to say that the asset is in very good condition, no works required. Make sure with this comments field that you're not adding any information that might be GDPR, so landowner names or locations, for example, that could be sensitive, because this comments field is free text, so you could upload information in there that we shouldn't be sharing accidentally. So let's click submit, and now we have got 3 inspections on this asset. I'm going to close all of these down, and if I click on it again, it's going to be highlighted. And now if we click on inspections, we're going to see that 3rd inspection there, so at 241. And we can see all the information about that inspection. Another thing Another part of the software that I'm going to show you now that could be useful is if you don't have any phone signal. So what you can do in this case is add an offline area. So in order to do this, first make sure you've clicked reload the map, and this is just to make sure that it's as up to date as it can be, and then click add offline area. So this is allowing us to download an area that we can use while we don't have phone signal, and it's going to allow us to go and inspect that intervention and then sync the changes when we have phone signal again. So in this case, I'm going to give myself this much of the map. If we change from the level of detail, it's going to change the size of this area. So I'm happy with this area as my offline area. Don't make it too large, because if you make it too large, it might be difficult to download to your phone. I'm going to click download area, and we'll see there that it's starting to download. Okay, our area has downloaded, so we're going to go into the area. You can rename this. So in order to do an inspection without phone signal, so let's say we're going out in the field and we don't have phone signal, we're going to use our map that we've created, our offline area, and we're going to sync that. I've already synced that, so I don't need to, but we're going to sync that if we have already set it up previously and we're going out again, to make sure that everything's up to date. Although I'm not demonstrating this offline because I won't be able to record the video, it does work offline, so that's the purpose of it. And we've tested this earlier. So what we now do is go in and click add. Let's imagine we don't have phone signal. We do the same thing. We go out, we're inspecting, we're taking our photo on the phone, we're using that photo, and we're going to do our condition assessment. So in this case, let's say we've gone after a storm and it's damaged. So we're going to say poor, and we're going to put the Rivers Trust here as the organisation. Action, we're going to put repair is needed, and the action status, we're going to say it's planned, but it hasn't happened yet. We think it's going to cost £250, for example, and we're going to say it's the landowner who's going to go and do this. And we're going to say was damaged in a storm and will need to be repaired. And we're going to click submit. Now, what this is going to do, if you are not connected to the internet, is we can see here actually it has done this. So we would now want to sync. So when we're back online, it's automatically set to auto sync when there is signal. So when we come back into signal, it's going to auto sync, but we can also click sync now, and this feature will sync. Okay, so now there's no pending edits. So this feature has now been added to the database. We can close and we can just check that now. There should be, let's have a look. There's now 4 inspections. So the most recent one, this is the one that we did without the phone signal, and that was at 2:53. So we can see that bottom one is the one that we just did, and it needs repairing. And one last thing to mention with this is that we need to make sure, in case there is a problem with the sync and the upload, that we've taken those photographs on our phone as well, and not just within the app, because if we make sure we've taken them on our phone, we have a backup. So let's say, for example, we've gone out into the field, the sync hasn't worked, and we need to, we don't want to redo everything. We could still have that information or an assessment or an idea of what needs filling in again, so we can do that back in the office with the photos that are saved onto our phone. But it should work, but if it doesn't, it's just a backup for you so you don't lose out on your fieldwork. A couple more things to mention here is that it is possible to view the inspections on the NFM Hub as well as on the Fieldmaps app. So if we go to NFM Hub and we click on National Map, we go to the area where we know we've done the inspection. So here's my example from earlier. And if we click on it, we can see the intervention itself. But if we scroll down to the bottom of the pop-up, it will also say inspection. So if there are any inspections, they will be visible below. And if we click here, you can see the inspections that we did earlier. So there's the timestamps for all of those inspections. and the information and any attached photos. And finally, there is also a page here which explains the same things I've talked about in this video, but it's giving you some screenshots as well. So if you get stuck, you can also use that as a resource, and feel free to ask me any questions.